There's a story out of Chicago. 6-year-old boy stabbed something like 26 times by an insane landlord who they claim it was a hate crime. He hated Hamas, Muslims, all that. Well, I got news for you. I hate Islam and I hate Hamas too. So I want to talk about this story because I don't want Americans to miss what the media is doing with this. First off, I work with youth from little all the way up to high school. And I don't like the thought of any little kid getting killed brutally. But let me tell you something. And the man was arrested. That guy's done. He'll be in good old liberal Illinois, he'll be locked up for life. They won't give him the death penalty for that, which is what he should get. But notice that the media emphasizes Muslim boy hate crime. Notice that same media, this is Chicago, does not want to call Hamas a terrorist group. This is media, sleight of hand, smoke and mirrors, abracadabra, alakazam. Look at what the whites and the conservatives do. This is coming. Israel is not a neutral nation. Israel is a polarizing nation. You either hate it or you support it. There's no middle ground. There's righteous and there's unrighteous. There's saved and there's lost. There's God and there's Satan. There is light and there is darkness. To be pro-Palestinian is to be pro-Satan, pro-darkness, pro-false religion, and put your middle finger up to the Almighty God. I did not say that Israel is without sin and perfect. That's not what I'm talking about here. But God himself has promised complete protection for the nation of Israel. I will bless those who bless you. I will curse those who curse you. He says it. That didn't change. God is not done with Israel. He talks about Gog and Magog will come against it. Yada, yada, yada. And we know what God's going to do there. Now, you listen to Joe Biden telling Israel not to go in and not to do the ground invasion. And Biden is, has been supporting Iran for many years, as well as his puppet master, Barack Obama, that anybody who would give all this money to Iran is a sheer idiot. A country that wants to see Israel pushed into the sea. America's had some strange and adulterous relationships with the wrong countries through the Democratic Party, through the Rhino Republicans. And Israel is a stone. Israel is a stone that you cannot ignore. Jesus himself called himself the cornerstone. And even though Israel does not recognize Jesus as the Christ, as the Messiah, as far as the Bible's concerned, that doesn't negate what God has for them. God is going to deal with them during the time of Jacob's trouble. But this story about a Muslim boy getting killed is very interesting to notice how the media wants to show how tragic this is. This came out of Chicago. They will not talk about all the black boys and black girls that are killed by blacks. They won't talk about the tragedy of some poor little black girl getting killed in gang crossfire. They won't talk about some poor little black boy. Remember, this is Chicago. These are the liberal voters that voted for Barack Obama, voted for Joe Biden, voted to defund the police, and the media won't give the blacks, the poor little kids, any press at all. So we're going to focus on a Muslim boy. Remember, it's like capital lock. Okay. Muslim boy, 6 years old, stabbed brutally because of his faith. What is Chicago's intention? They don't like Israel. That's what it is. They know that Hamas has done something atrocious. And the American media is not on the side of truth. So what they're going to do is blow out this story, an isolated, single-hand, crazy thing with somebody killing a little boy, injuring the mom. And they're going to blow this up billboard style to make a point. Not a point, but the inference is, look at the hatred towards Muslims. Look at this. Muslims are such good people, right? Trade Towers, Gili Loro, Zurich Olympics, Lockerbie, Scotland, what they did to Israel, what they continually do to Israel. Okay. When the media takes a microscopic gnat and puts it into billboard size, when they take a microscope and magnify something out of a petri dish, what you don't see is sane and rational people like myself attacking and killing Muslims, but they won't talk about that. I'm a conservative. I believe in the truth, and I don't believe in killing Muslims just because they're Muslim. I don't agree with Islam. I don't believe in it. It's horseshit. It's a false religion. Allah does not exist. But let's put the spotlight on something. Let's put a big spotlight on something. Let me ask you all a hypothetical question. If a white man took an 8-year-old girl from a family and had sexual relations with her, what would Americans think of that? Let's pause for a minute. Okay? That man would be a sex offender. That man would be in prison. The family would be horrified. American women would be horrified. But what if a Middle Eastern man took an 8-year-old girl from the family of the 8-year-old girl and made that woman, that 8-year-old girl, his wife? And he's adored by millions. And he wrote a book called the Quran. And he's considered a hero. Do you not see what our world does with stuff like that? Muhammad was a pervert. Muhammad was a fuck up. He founded a religion not based in truth at all. And what does the Bible say about Ishmael? Ask the Muslims. Ask them who they descended from. They'll tell you. Who do they say? Abraham is our father. They're speaking the truth on that. What did the Bible say about Ishmael? You know, Sarah and Abraham. Sarah and Abraham said, Sarah doubted God, said, here, sleep with my handmaid Hagar. Ishmael was born. Sarah was pissed. And what did God say about Ishmael? He'll be a wild jackass of a man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand will be against him. Boom, Middle East. The Muslim, the rest of the Middle East hates Israel because they're connected to Ishmael. They say that Abraham was the father of all these religions. No, he wasn't. He was the father of Ishmael. He was the father of Isaac. But God did not make a promise through Ishmael to save the world. It was made through Isaac. And the Muslim world doesn't understand or comprehend that because they're lost souls. So if you hate Israel and you side with the Palestinians, we know where you're going and we know who you are. You're lost. You're in darkness. And our media in America is not Christian. Our media is not about Christian truth. Our media is not about the truth. The media is about a narrative. The media creates news. They work off emotionally driven logic, or not even logic. They work off emotional thinking only. They play on the hearts of minds and men and women and silly little sheeple to get all worked up. Wow, a 6-year-old boy, this is awful. One 6-year-old boy stabbed. Wow, that same media is silent about 61 million children killed that were aborted. The media doesn't say a damn word about 61 million. Oh, but they were killed in the womb. You think that child didn't feel pain? Yeah, that child felt pain. Sucking the baby out, saline solution, and all the horrible things they did. You see, the devil's a liar. So we're going to focus on a little Muslim boy, a gnat in a petri dish. And we're going to make an issue about this. And Chicago's going to blow this out in headline style while they ignore every poor little black child killed by blacks in Chicago, when black on black violence is higher there than any city in America. And since the Democrats have taken power, it has exploded under Democrat mayoral leadership in Chicago with that crazy woman and now this crazy black man and Barack Obama and Biden. Every time the Democrats get in control, the crime increases exponentially. That's a fact. And these silly boys blame this on Republicans and Trump as if Trump has power. What happened to the little boy is tragic. But 61 million people killed in America through the simple word called choice is nothing more than genocide, sanctioned by cold-hearted, calloused, murdering American women. The media doesn't care about lives. It doesn't even care about that Muslim little boy. They're exploiters of a story designed to inflame emotion. They want to see Muslims take to the streets and tear things up. And they want to see the blood of white people and conservatives flow. They want to ultimately blame this on conservatives and whites and Christians and Trump supporters. What has happened in the last week plus is Hamas, a Muslim terrorist group, supported by Iran, supported by Middle Eastern radical, crazy people that hate Israel, punked on a nation. Cowards, pussies. They didn't go after the IDF. They went after innocent people in their homes, innocent people at a concert, soft targets. That's the way terrorists and cowards and thugs operate. Just like in America when something goes wrong. The rioters don't go after the people they're angry at. They go after the stores, the shop owners, and the neighborhoods and the community, and they attack women and men and other people. And the Democrats didn't say a fucking word about the riots that went on in 2020. Did not stop it. The black community didn't condemn it. Not one minister from the black community, not Barack, not Oprah Winfrey, not Maxine Waters, not any of these raving leftist blacks said a damn word. But Chicago's going to tell us the little boy was murdered and stabbed because of his faith. That same media doesn't care that boys are bullied because they're conservative, that boys are bullied for being Christians. They don't care. They don't care the 61 million children being killed via abortion because they change terminologies. They call it a fetus, a tissue blob. They call it the unborn. I'm sorry. That is a heartbeat. That's not unborn. It's in the land of womb, and it hasn't come out yet. I despise the liberal media. They are all those silly journalists with all their pancake makeup and their ugly outfits and their nasally little voices and their geekster style, all that run off to the little gated communities when they're done and talk about how stressful their day was, are going to be held accountable by the living God for lying, for twisting, for taking the side of Lucifer. I don't care what any Harvard professor says. Harvard supports Hamas. We already heard that. Harvard supports Palestinians. And again, all these Palestinians living in other countries that are angry about what happened. Why are you not in Palestine? Why is Tlaib not in Palestine? If they're so concerned about Palestinians, why don't they get on a flight, go over there and stand up for their brethren and sister? And Iran. Netanyahu better not begin a ground invasion in Israel. And you're going to do what, Iran? And we got Puddinhead Pop running our country. And he says to Iran, don't. And he won't say, even though they've already said Iran supported this attack. See, Iran's looking for an excuse to push Israel and see. All this was orchestrated. Our media is full of crap. They don't care about a little Muslim boy any more than they cared about 61 million aborted children. They don't care about the little black boys and girls that are killed. They don't care about the little black boys and girls on the milk cartons back in the days of old. Have you seen me? The media is an instigator. They're a rabble rouser. They're a pot stirrer. They're a troublemaker. And the only motive that I can see with them reporting this horrific, isolated event is to stir the pot. They want riots. They want uprisings. They're bored. While they can shuttle off in their limousines and go back to their gated communities and tell their wives and husbands, oh, I had such a stressful day today, making big money to twist and spin the news. They don't start their day off in prayer. They don't start their day off with the Bible. They don't start their day off with devotion to God. They live in a world system that is under the prince of the power of the air. Christians, wake up. You secularists out there, you atheists, you Hamas supporters, you anti-Israelis, I promise you this. God is on the throne. He is not dead. What's going to happen with Israel in the Middle East right now? I don't know. I just know in Ezekiel 38, 39, when Iran, Russia, and Turkey decide to surround Israel and come up against it, it won't matter what NATO or anybody says, and NATO won't be able to do a damn thing. NATO didn't stop Hamas. The Democratic Party didn't stop Hamas. Biden didn't stop Hamas. Iran didn't. The Palestinians didn't. The Palestinians voted Hamas in. So that being said, stop drinking the Kool-Aid of the pro-Palestinian septic tanks. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid of the lies of the left. A little boy was killed by a raving fool landlord. Is it sad? Is it tragic? It is. But maybe mommy and daddy ought to think about what religion they're raising their boy in. One that teaches hate, teaches blowing up skyscrapers, teaches that anybody who's not a Muslim should be slayed. All that convert not to Allah, slay wheresoever you find them. Slay the infidel. Yeah, mom and dad are going to be in trouble for putting a stumbling block before that little boy. Okay? So there's going to be a lot of people in trouble in our media that seems to be pro-Islam and anti-Christ and anti-Israel and anti-truth and pro-Democrat. You think that they're going to weasel past the almighty, all-searching, all-knowing God? Oh, no. No, when you work for Satan, you get the wages of those sins, and there's a payday coming. We got a lot of people in America right now working hard and overtime for the devil. Pelosi, old, rotting, inebriated liberals still trying to do as much damage as they can instead of taking all the money that they've stolen and gained unethically being a public servant and living on an island and enjoying their life. They're still wreaking havoc on the American landscape. Israel is going to have God on their side in the end. In Zechariah, it says 1/3 of Israel will be saved in the end times. 1/3. 2/3 are going to hell. How many Palestinians are going to hell? How many Muslims are going to hell? Every single one of them that does not name the name of Jesus Christ. And we need to wake up to the fact that as we see us approaching the last days, the battle lines are being drawn. Which side are you on? Where do you stand? We in America have been Democrat, Republican, gay or straight, LGBT or this, traditional values. How about thus saith the Lord or thus saith the devil? Because Israel is a polarizing nation. It's not neutral. It never was. It was never intended to be. Satan hates Israel. The Bible talks about when God casts Satan out of the presence of God and throws him down to earth, and 1/3 of those angels, now called demons, with him, it says he will declare war on the woman and the saints of God, for he knows his time is short. If you don't want to believe in the devil and don't want to believe in God, and you want to anesthetize yourself with your alcohol and your sins and your false headiness of so-called science and information, go ahead. It's not my fault you drank the Kool-Aid, ate the pudding, or took the arsenic. Truth is truth. The devil's a liar. And you who follow him are all going to the same place he is, the lake of fire. You see, what's written in ancient holy writ is what's going to be the final. This world is not going to go out because of spherical heating. It's going to go out because God is going to judge this world. There's going to be a 7-year tribulation. After that, there's going to be a 1,000-year reign of Christ. People will still have to make a choice. Kids born from the Christians who survive the tribulation and walk into the millennium will have children. Those children don't automatically become Christians. They'll have to make a choice. And even though God is ruling from Jerusalem, many will still choose to say no. And they will come up once again and surround the holy city. Fire will come down from heaven at the end of those 1,000 years and destroy them all. And the earth will burn up, and God will bring a new heavens and a new earth, and the new Jerusalem will come down. It's not going to end as the liberals in CNN state. I promise you. It's not going to end in a nuclear holocaust. So stop worrying about that. Does that mean America won't go through a nuclear, or a country won't? No, a country could be wiped out by a nuclear bomb, but the whole globe? No. No. We're at a threshold now more than any other time in history. The youth in our world are going crazy. Have you heard what they're doing on cruise ships? The teenagers, the youth are running around, getting into stuff, acting up on cruise ships, disrespecting people, jumping up and down on tables. The youth in our streets rose up in Chicago, beating up a white woman, busting stores, tearing things up. And a silly black mayor says, they're teenagers. Oh, send them over to your house. Send them to your house and let them do to that what they did downtown Chicago. And all you people that support Palestine, hey, Send them to Martha's Vineyard. Send them to the White House, Pelosi's mansion, Oprah's 8 lavish estates. Put them all in the liberals' mansions. They got plenty of room to house a lot of Palestinians. Put them in there, liberals. Take them on. Take the illegals with you. Take the fentanyl trafficking people with you. And take all those black on black violent people. Let them move into your house too. The ones that support BLM. You see, nobody wants the Palestinians. Egypt has closed their border. They said it will hurt the tourist industry. Iran won't take them. Lebanon won't take them. Syria won't take them. Is it starting to become clear that the Arab nations put the Palestinians there to create this problem? And they're trying to blame Israel, but none of the other nations want to take them. They're using them as a human shield and a political football as an excuse to go against Israel. They don't care if the Palestinians' blood flows to the sea. They don't care at all. I'm so sick of the lies of the left. They're rampant. It's a pandemic. It's systemic. It's epidemic. The Democrats love the words epidemic and systemic. The Democrats are systemic liars, systemic haters, systemic grab all the money for themselves and mansions and big bank accounts while stirring the fires of hate and watching riots in our streets and rubbing their hands with glee and dipping into their bucket of popcorn and watching the chaos ensue. Democrats thrive off of this, just like the devil. He seeks to kill, to destroy. So do the Democrats. So do the Palestinians. So does Hamas. So do Muslims. Islam is not a religion of peace. Only a fool believes that. And all fools will be in the lake of fire. Do you have any questions? Does anything else need to be said? I didn't think so.